Happy New Year to you, Adoption Warrior family. I'm glad to come back to you guys this year in 2026. I know we've been away for a little bit, but we're back and we're ready to go for the new year. So we have a lot of new exciting things coming up this year in 2026. We got some conferences and stuff that we'll be attending. So today I want to talk about a topic. It's called the Adoptees Bill of Rights. And so we're going to go through these items, through these topics, one by one. We'll talk a little bit about it, and go from there and add some comments. And you guys, if you want to add some stuff in the comments as well, that's very much welcomed, and we'll talk about them on the next podcast. So we're going to start with number one. We have the right to dignity and respect. And so with that comes a lot of I want to say emotional damage, if you will, where we feel that we do not have the right to be respected, or dignified, low self-esteem, and that comes, and that's not always through adoption kids, foster kids. I mean, that's sometimes just the realm of life, but it is common among adoption kids and foster kids. So let's make sure that we remember that we have the right to have respect. And then the next one that we're going to talk about is that we have the right to know that we're adopted. And that's a big one. Because I know a lot of families that adopt kids, there's always comes a time with when do we tell our child that he or she was adopted? And I've heard that argument many times to a lot of different families, different perspectives. My personal opinion on this is that we do it maybe sooner than later, because that way there, if you wait to tell your child when it's getting a teenager, the adolescence can be rough already, and then we want to throw on top of them, oh, by the way, you're adopted. That can make them really unsure of who they are, where they come from, where do they belong. And I don't know necessarily that I would create a big deal about it as well when you sit down with your child and you explain to them about the adoption system and you explain to them that they're adopted. Because you don't it is a big thing, but again, you don't want to make it into a big thing, if that makes sense. It's something, you don't want to casually talk to them about, and it gives you time to know to address if there's any feelings there, any emotions, any questions, before they leave. I mean, I've heard of some families not telling them till they're way into adulthood, and they, oh, by the way, you were adopted, and then it builds resentment to the adopted parents because, hey, why didn't you tell me this? I have the right to know that I was adopted. So the next thing, you also have the right to possess your original birth certificate. You can go down to the county clerk's office, or I forget the other government entity that you can go and get your birth certificate. I've done it before. It's a really quick, painless thing to do. I think you pay, I don't know, $25 or something like that, and you can get your original birth certificate. So everybody has a right to do that. Also, you have the right to your adoption records, so you can, go back, see, when it started, where it came from. I've seen mine. So you have that right to get that and have it in your possession. You also have the right, full knowledge of the originals, religious backgrounds, any medical or social details. You have the right to your medical background. Also, see, everybody needs to know that anyways. You need to know, is it something I need to look out for? Is it something I need to be aware of? Especially on your medical, I mean, it's your life, so you should have the right to your medical stuff. Also, you have the right to personal contacts with each of your birth families and other family members. So that's more into once you become an adulthood, um, that you can be able to go and look up your biological family. You can again, you can get your records from your birth certificate, where you can go look them up. Nowadays, they have many ways to find your family. You can go to social media, which has many links that you can find on social media. I mean, you got Instagram, Facebook. I don't know. You could use TikTok or all these different social media platforms. You can go out and reach out to them, to your family. You have that right to do that. And again, you go through your records. There's where you can get your DNA. Ancestry.com. A few of my biological family have found me through um, Ancestry.com. So there's different ways you can do that, and you have that right to do that. And then also, you have the right to live guilt free from this your adoption. I know that's way left field from the other one. Um, I'm just throwing that into that. Um, there's nothing to feel guilty about, nothing to feel like you're in bondage about, as far as, this is your life now. This is, I've seen a lot of successful adopted kids go out and live a productive life. Um, and everything's for a season, right? So just always keep that in mind. We also have the right to treat both of our sets of families as one family. And that can be really difficult. You have your adopted family here, you have your biological family here, and it is hard to intertwine them at a later date. I've seen it happen before, um, but it's difficult. Because there's still resentment on the parents of both sides, and then with the child in between. Um, it's a very difficult thing to do, um, but it can be done. So that can be done through a lot of communication, a lot of compromising, even counseling. I know, for example, in my personal life, um, my biological mom and my adopted mom, and myself, we can sit down and have lunch together, have a good conversation and interact. And believe me, it's not something that is done overnight. It's something that takes a lot of time, a lot of years, a lot of communication. And sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. And those that are wondering, well, should I? Should I not? Again, that's communication. Look into the background, look into the history, look into the present. What am I getting into? What I'm not getting into? But you have that right to love both sets of the families. You also have the right and obligation to show your feelings. Show your biological family and show your adopted family how you feel. How do you feel about this situation? How do you want to change it? How do you want to continue on? How do you want to continue going down this road? Or is it something that, yeah, I don't want to do this after all? So that's your right and your obligation to show your feelings, to know where you're coming from. We have the right to become whole and complete people. And again, you have the right to have a successful life, to have a family of your own, to have maybe your own business, or um, your own career, whatever it is that you want to conquer in life. That is your right to do that and become a whole person. Um, fostering being a foster kid or adopted kid does not put you in a box where you cannot outgrow it. You're human like everybody else. Um, so we want to um, make sure, don't put chains on yourself, don't put boundaries on yourself. You have that right to be a whole person, to be a successful person. And I know that a lot of foster kids, adopted kids, come from a rough childhood. a rough life, and they get to where they start to accept, hey, this is their life now. It is what it is. Hey, these are the cards that are dealt to me. I just have to live by it. And I challenge and I encourage each person that is adopted or foster, even if you're not and you still have that feeling, to get rid of that feeling. Get some counseling, talk to somebody, again, communicate with somebody, to get yourself some help. And it's okay, again, as I mentioned many times before, it's okay to say I need help. There's nothing wrong with that. We have the right and obligation not to violate the dignity of all people involved in the adoption triad and carry our message to all adoption children who still suffer. So, with that, I want to make sure that, for me, I was adopted. I understand adoption. So push it forward. What I know and what I grew into and what I've learned, push that forward to the next kid that um, is struggling or growing up um, into that life. Show them the way, shine the light onto the path that is they don't struggle the same way you did, right? We want to better our generation. We want to better our kids. Um, Go out there, find a volunteer, do some advocating um, for other kids so they can have a better life than what we have. Because we always want a better life for our kids than what we had, even our own kids, shining the way for them to go. So I hope today that you enjoyed this podcast. It got the wheels turning. You learned a little bit. Again, if you have opinions about it or add addition to it, please feel welcome to add it to the comments below the YouTube, and I'll respond to you guys with the next podcast. And again, let's continue to show the way for these adoption kids and foster kids. And again, we'll talk to you soon. I can't